We're live! Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Oh, it's Friday afternoon and it's coffee time. So, it's been a long day. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. But look, I'm here. I'm going to answer your questions and get to the bottom of a few controversial things. So, who am I? Well, my name's Jason Restall, and if you've got a septic tank, or you'd like to put a septic tank in, or you'd like free help and advice, then just go to septictank.co.uk and I'll help you for free. I'll give you free advice and I'll give you free help. Oh, it's a nice cup of coffee. Do you know what? I've tried all the coffees and Nescafe Gold, that's really good. Anyway, listen, that's me whittling on. So, you're probably thinking, heathen, how can you like Nescafe Gold? Well, I've tried them all, cafetières, all of them, but Nescafe Gold, it just seems to hit the spot. All right, so look, I'm going to discuss something very controversial now. That's annoying a lot of people. I'm not personally annoying a lot of people, but a lot of people are getting annoyed about this. It's called the Septic Tank Ban. Oh, if I could spell, that would be good. The Septic Tank Ban. Now, let me explain exactly what all this is about, right? The Septic Tank Ban 2020 comes into force on the 1st of Jan 2020. Now, let me just get a couple of things straight here. A lot of people in the comments are saying, you're talking a lot of crap, mate, and who cares? Don't listen to him. He's trying to scare everyone and blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. Look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But the fact of the matter is, look, I'm just a messenger, right? I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been helping people for 20 years. I've been fixing people's septic tank problems for 20 years. Whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or not, the septic tank rules and regulations, they all change on the 1st of January 2020, whether we like it or not, right? They're coming into force. And the point being is this, right? As I said, I'm just a messenger helping people to work out if they've got a septic tank and soak away. I'm just trying to help people find a solution and a way around it. So look, if you don't believe that they're coming, that's fine. Okay. If you don't, if you don't want to do anything about it, that's fine. I mean, people think I'm cashing in on this and I'm not. I've been doing the same thing as I've been doing for 20 years. And that's advising and helping people. When new products come along, I tell people about it. When rules and regulations change, I tell people about it. So let me just explain exactly what the septic tank ban is all about. And so I've got my phone here, right? I've got my iPhone here. And I've actually, if you want to find out exactly what the septic tank ban is all about, go on to the .gov website, right? Go onto the government's main website, right? And when you go onto the government's main website, type in general binding rules. Okay, so go onto the government's website and type in general binding rules and you'll find all this information there. It's not something I'm just pulling out of my hat or making up because, I'm trying to flipping, make a cheap shot, trying to get people to flipping come to my shop or something. This is real, and people who have got septic tanks and soakaways that don't conform to these new rules and regulations, they're going to be decommissioned and they'll be fined. It's as simple as that. Whether you believe me or not, that's up to you. But as I said, I'm just a messenger relaying this information. So I've got the government website right there. Okay, so can you see that? So I'm going to read you exactly what it is that they are implementing. Okay, so let's just take it from the top. Okay, so as it stands, there's no real rules and regulations regarding septic tanks. There's no real rules and regulations regarding tanks at the moment. Okay, but the big one, this is the big one that's really affecting everyone. If you've got a septic tank, so here's your septic tank, and let's say for argument's sake, this is your soakaway. All right, it's just, forget how it looks. All right, so at the moment, there's no rules and regulations regarding things other than, you know, if you, okay, other than, you know, it's got to have a particular certification. But look, up to now, there really hasn't been any clarification on this. But let's say that's your septic tank, and let's say that's your soakaway field. Before, it didn't really matter how close you were to a watercourse, right? But on the 1st of Jan 2020, the new rules state that if you're within 15 meters, if your septic tank or your soakaway is within 15 meters of a watercourse, then it will become illegal. Okay, so that is the big one that's doing everyone's head in. At the moment, it doesn't matter, right? But some septic tanks go directly into a watercourse. By watercourse, I mean a river, a stream, a brook, a culvert, a ditch, whatever it is, right? But on the 1st of January, if you're within 15 meters of a watercourse, then your septic tank and soakaway will become illegal. Regardless what you do about that, regardless how you feel about that, I don't like it. I don't like these new rules and regulations that are coming into force, and I don't police them. I'm just, you know, some people think, oh crap, you know, I've got to sell my house, or it could be a pollution risk. I need to fix this, and that's fine. If you don't want to fix it, then that's up to you, you know. Okay, so that's one rule and regulation that's coming into force, okay? So let me give you some others, and these are all just as crazy, right? So here we go. It says, right, if your septic tank, and I'm quoting now, again, if your septic tank, if it leaks, so by leaks, I mean, if you've got an onion tank and it's punctured, if you've got an old brick cesspool or septic tank and it's leaking through the wall on its side, right? If your septic tank leaks, if there's cracks anywhere on the actual structure of the tank, or, there you go, look, if there's cracks in tank, all the pipes, if any of the pipes are blocked, if there's smells, if you have a pump, and I haven't got my glasses on, there you go, and you are subject to power cuts, if you've got a pump and you're subject to power cuts, then it says here, if any of these, let me just put a line up there. If you have a septic tank that has any of these symptoms, then it must be repaired or replaced. It's as simple as that. There you go. So you must have your treatment system repaired or replaced. If it has leaks, cracks in the tank side or walls or in the pipes, if any of the pipes are blocked, if there's any signs that the effluent is not draining properly, if the sewage smells, if you're prone to power cuts, you must have your system replaced. And so all these rules and regulations that I'm reading, again, they're not designed to scare you, right? I mean, for 300 years, right, no one's given a monkeys about septic tanks and how they work or don't work or whatever, unless they're, you know, pouring into the street or whatever. But as I said, these are called the general binding rules, right? General binding rules. And so this, I just wanted to clear this fact up for people. I don't like this any more than you do, right? And I'm not cashing in on it because, you know, these people, if they've had systems, you know, they're trying to sell their place, and, you know, if this was my place and I was by a water course, you know, and suddenly I had to replace my system, I wouldn't find it funny at all. You know, it would do my head in. It's just another bill. It's another tax. It's another law. It's another problem. But all this is the bad news, right? It doesn't affect everyone, okay? So just because you've got a septic tank and soakaway doesn't necessarily mean this is you or this is your tank. But the point being is there are going to be people out there who have got these symptoms and these problems, right? And so if they're conscientious, if they're going to sell their house, then they need a solution, okay, to the problem. And I have been doing this for 20 years. And look, I give free advice, I give free help, and I put cost-effective solutions in place and help people. You know, I've done work all over the country over 20 years. I've worked with Prince Charles, the Queen of Dubai. You know, I've done loads of systems all over the country. You know, from the next door neighbor. You know, rich or poor, great or small, it doesn't matter to me. A septic tank is a septic tank is a septic tank and a soakaway. You know, everyone has to go for a number one and a number two. And I just love septic tanks and I love finding solutions for people. So if this septic tank ban thing's alarming you, if it's annoying you, if it's worrying you, right, then just go to septictank.co.uk, right? And I've put lots of different solutions in place to help people get around the septic tank ban. Let me give you two solutions now, right? Let me give you two simple solutions that mean that show that you will not have to replace your system. This is what I mean, right? Lots of companies are taking advantage of these new rules and regulations, right? Please, 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 before you spend a penny, just at least visit my site, right? Let me just show you two really cheap solutions you may not have thought about. Now, one of the things, right, it spoke about was blockages. All right, if you get a blockage, then it means that the liquid can't drain away properly into the soil, or, you know, it's just backing up and causing an issue. Now, unless you replace your soakaway or your septic tank, or, you know, you get dyno rodding and spend hundreds of pounds trying to locate it, there's a really, really easy fix to fix blockages in your septic tank and soakaway. Blockages basically consist of fat, grease, and sludge. Right? It basically consists of that. Oops, sorry. That is basically the main cause of blockages in septic tanks. Now, as I said, you can try jetting it, right? If you can try jetting it, but jetting it doesn't work, right? I think, you know, you can pay 300-400 quid to get it jetted. So you imagine that's a pipe, right? And let's say it's blocked there, right, with grease and fat and other horrible stuff, right? The jetter goes into the pipe like that. It's kind of like got an arrowhead, and they kind of like look like that, and they fire water. Let me just draw that again. It's been a long day and I'm not the best artist in the world, but let me draw that again for you. So let's say this is your pipe. This is your blockage. All right, there you go. And here's the jetter pipe. They almost look like that, and they've got a head on it. There you go. And what they do, they fire, they blast real high-powered water into the pipe to try and shift the blockage. But what it actually does, right? It actually makes the problem worse because because these pipes, underground pipes, actually don't go anywhere. What I'm saying is there's no exit point, as it were. They're just like they're just underground surrounded by soil. So what it actually does, it compounds the issue, right? It actually compounds it. So yes, it fires flipping jets of water down into the pipe. But what that actually does is this. It actually compresses all that fat and grease and sludge, makes the problem even worse. And what's even worse is, right, the tanker man will say, yeah, come on, I'll jet it for you, 300 quid. You know, they're not fussed, they're making a living from it. But, you know, suddenly you've just made your blockage worse, right? So you can get your blockages jetted. You can replace your soak away. There's even another means by which people try and get rid of their blockages, right? And that is, so there's your blockage again, rodding it. Okay, so we've all rodded it. I've rodded tanks. The rod goes in, the rod comes out, pokes into the grease, pokes out again. And that's what it is. You know, if it's grease and fat and sludge, it just pokes through it. It won't kind of unblock it. So rodding, in a sense, is no good. But let me tell you what actually does work, right? And I used to live in Shropshire. I used to live in a place called Shropshire. And my dad used to live with my dad and mum there. And my dad and all the neighbours around used to have septic tanks. And it was like I'd creep down the garden and lift the lid. And wow, there'd be this heaving, swarming, kind of moving mass inside it, right? And basically, I found out they were worms. It was like something out of a horror movie. But anyway, sometimes Dad would put his hand in and take worms and go fishing with them. And about 4 years ago, right, I was talking to my dad about these worms, and he was saying, do you know what, Jason? You know, me and all the neighbours, you know, hundreds of people where we used to live in Shropshire on the North Wales border, they all had septic tanks with worms in. They never had any problems. They never had it emptied. They never had any blockages, nothing, okay? And I thought, blimey, I wonder what those worms are. So I did a lot of research and study. There's about 150 species of worm in this country, believe it or not. And there's one particular type of worm that eats poop, sewage, and stuff like that. And so I started breeding, having these worms bred, and we started selling them in buckets. And we call them soak away worms, right? Soak away worms. And they literally, this is nuts, right? This is really, really nuts, right? So how much room have I got there? So let's say this is your tank. Okay. That's the roof of the tank. And let's say this is your pipe that's blocked. All right. You take the lid off your tank here. All right. Lift your lid up. And let's say it's full up with water to here. Look, there you go. And it's not draining away properly. Okay, so let's say it's not draining away. Let's say there's a blockage in your pipe here. All right, so there's the blockage in your pipe. And so these worms, there you go, there's fat and grease and sludge in there. These worms come in a bucket, right? And you literally tip a bucket of these worms into your septic tank, and they'll fall to the bottom of the tank, right? And it's a fallacy. It's an untruth that worms drown in water. If there's oxygen in the water, which there is in a septic tank, because you've got an inlet and you've got an outlet, as long as there's water flowing, coming in and going out, even if it isn't going out because it's blocked, but it's still coming in, you're still oxygenating the water. So the worms, right, they go to the bottom of the tank and they swim around and they go into the soak away and they eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge, right, and the sludge. And they unblock all the blockages. Not only do they unblock it, right, but they actually keep it unblocked. And they're a one-off treatment. I think a bucket of worms is something like, I mean, how much does it cost to get an empty where you live? 150 quid, 250 quid, something like that. A bucket of worms is 150 quid, 149 quid. And they're a one-off treatment. Once you put them in, you don't ever have to use them again. And because they eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge, you never, ever, ever have to get your tank emptied again. And they free it up, right? They free it up So the water flows into the soakaway and they just live in your system. They don't come back up your toilet into your bathroom or anything like that. They just live in the tank. And people say, oh, how often do I have to get my tank empty? You never have to get it empty, right? Because the whole point, people think when they lift the lid, God, the water's quite high up. I better get empty. It's always high up. It's always high up. The water is always high up, right? It's like a tide mark. It always is at a certain height. So you don't get your tank empty. No one should ever get their tank empty because the water looks high up. It's always high up in the tank. It's always like 3/4 or more, right, from the bottom up. The reason people only get their tanks emptied is because over the course of the year, all the number twos, all the fat and the grease, right, build up on the bottom. And then the tanker comes, puts his pipe in, and he just desludges that. But the worms eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge, so you never ever need to get it emptied. And the reason I've just gone on about soakaway worms is because one of the new rules and regulations states that if you're prone to blockages or you've got a blockage, then you have to replace your septic tank and soakaway. How much is that going to cost, right? Well, you probably know it's going to cost you about 6,000 to 7,000 quid, right, to get a new septic tank and soakaway if someone's putting it in. Bucket of worms is 149 quid. It unblocks the pipes, keeps the septic tank clean. So this is what I'm saying is, right, I've been doing this for 20 years. I crawl through septic tanks. I love them. A healthy septic tank never smells, right? A healthy septic tank with worms in never becomes problematic. So there you go. So that's just one cheap fix, a real fix that can stop you being affected by all these new rules and regulations that come into force on the 1st of January 2020. So there you go. So I hope that's helped. There's lots more little tips as well, loads more tips that I can share with you on other videos. But look, if you want free help and advice, or you want soakaway worms, or maybe you've decided to swap and your septic tank and soakaway, then just go, as I said, just go to septictank.co.uk and check out the products, check out the soakaway worms there. I've got free document. Oh, another thing as well, right? Which I'll go on about in another video, but a government compliance form, right? Everyone needs to have a government compliance form, right? You can get them from the .gov website, but you've got to wade through all these applications and stuff like that. I've actually printed them all out. I've done a template for people. I normally sell them for 300 quid. For 5 quid, you can make your tank fully legal from the solicitor's point of view. They're called a government compliance form. But anyway, look, they're on septictank.co.uk. So the point is, there's lots of little ways, little tips that you can make your septic tank fully legal before the 1st of Jan 2020. So if you're skeptical, you know, about the 2020 ban, that's fine. It's your point of view, it's your opinion, and that's fine, as I said. But for those who are concerned, that do go on the .gov website, actually see it in black and white. God, you know, the government is bringing in all these rules and regulations, and blimey, they do affect me. Then go to septictank.co.uk, give us a ring. I'll give you free help. I'll give you free advice. Or, as I said, you know, you may find a product there that will make your tank legal before the 1st of Jan 2020. So thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I may, where are we now? 4 o'clock. It's Friday. Probably won't get a chance for another live film broadcast today, but I'll be back tomorrow with some more live broadcasts. So thank you very much for watching this. You take care, and I'll